again, everybody. It's Todd Staruch, the Horror Nerd, here at New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival. We are winding down the first day of the convention. I had an absolute blast today, and I'm still having fun because I get to talk to so many great and talented people. And speaking of which, I have the pleasure of standing here with Mr. Omri Katz. Omri, how are you?
I'm doing great. You mentioned great and talented people, but I was like, well, what am I doing here? How did I get in the mix?
Don't sell yourself short.
All right.
So how's it going? You having fun at the con?
Yeah, so far so good. Could have used a little more sleep, but I'm trucking through.
Dude, that's my life.
Right?
Is
Lack
like
of sleep.
signing up for some more sleep.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, when it comes to these horror conventions, we fans can be an interesting bunch. Does it surprise you that at these conventions, like, fans want to come out and meet you and talk to you about movies that perhaps were made decades ago?
Yeah, it's still kind of a big shock. People are into their own things, fans, collectors, whatever. I still am just kind of surprised that I'm in the mix and coming here, 30 plus years later after my stint in the acting biz to come and have people show me some praise. It's strange and cool.
That is very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a strange life.
Look, I'm just a fan at heart who gets to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So it is very cool just as a fan to get to meet people who are in the movies that I grew up with, that I love, like Hocus Pocus,
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah.
Does it, there are several of you here from Hocus Pocus this weekend, which is a fan dream come true. And I'm going to ask you the same thing I've been asking them. Does it surprise you that how the movie, which unfortunately was not really a hit when it came out.
It was a flop.
But it's developed such a cult following and is so popular all these years later.
Yeah, I think it took us all by surprise. I don't think any one of us anticipated such a growth, especially after it kind of failed. To my surprise, I'm shocked that it is such a hit and actually getting more and more popular as the time goes on. So I don't know why this movie resonated with so many people. I don't know why, but it's just a beautiful thing that it's resonated with so many people over this long span of time, and here we are at conventions.
Right. Right. I will tell you what, I've been going to cons for 30 years now, and I just remember hearing way back then, like, wait, you're going to a what? Fan convention. Wait, I can meet people from the movies that I love and stuff, and like here we are now. So It's been such a blessing.
It's a trip, and these cons too. The convention circuit is also growing.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's like a lot of people that are maybe not working so much in Hollywood anymore or whatever, like guests and appearances, like this is a second opportunity for them. And, with the amount of conventions that are going on and everything, it's pretty crazy. It's like a new era.
How did you get into acting? How did you get bit with the acting bug?
I didn't get bit with the acting bug per se. It's more, I think, just kind of luck. I was just an animated kid who really just was not shy or anything. Someone wanted to use me in a commercial when I was about 3 years old or somewhere in that range, and I think my parents saw that as an opportunity, and I just kind of did it with like no thought about it. And the older I got, the more I kind of realized that acting is great. It wasn't necessarily a passion of mine, but at the same time I just wasn't a big fan of the industry itself because it's kind of weird in its own strange way.
Yeah, I get it.
That I ended up fading out because I was just like, I don't really like the politics of the industry itself. And it just wasn't necessarily driven to want to go through the rat race and the cattle calls of auditioning and rejection and all that stuff. So, that's how I got my start. And I just explained how I got my end, too.
You know what? And that is fair. and I appreciate the honesty, you know?
Yeah, that's my take.
And over the years, I've interviewed several people who have said that, you know? I just got worn down by it, and they've gone on to other careers. Like,
Yeah.
oh, today I'm a hairdresser, I'm a veterinarian, I'm a pharmacist,
Yeah.
like whatever it might be. And they were in one or two, like, huge movies. And now they're like, nah, I'm done. I was done with acting.
It's that, you know, that 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
I had my 15 minutes, and I'm happy with that. I also never was really big on publicity and being a public figure. I was always very kind of introverted when it came to that kind of stuff. Only recently I've kind of come more out of my shell, and especially doing these conventions with, you know, my fellow pals and everything.
Sure.
It's kind of changed the game, but initially it was really weird for me to start to talk to people and kind of come out of it. You know, I'm sure a lot of people are aware, maybe some of your fans aren't, but I'm in the cannabis industry now.
Okay.
And, you know, until that stuff was legal, we were all underground and, you know, doing things not above board. So that was another reason to not be, you know, I couldn't be a public figure and be a weed grower at the same time.
I got you. You know, that it's so interesting. That's not something I myself was ever interested in. I don't care at all that other people are. Like everybody, we're all grown-ups, right?
Different strokes for different folks.
But I never thought I'd hear the phrase cannabis industry in my life, you know?
I never thought either.
So the way attitudes have changed and everything and towards it have changed, you know? And so it's just such an interesting time we live in when it comes to certain things, you know?
I feel like the attitude has always been there, but just because of the stigma, you couldn't really talk about it because, I mean, we all know that everyone we pretty much know is either a stoner or smokes weed. Our parents, so they just had to be like low pro. Now, though, you could be way more open and discuss it. Like even me, up until like legalization, you wouldn't have known. You might have known that I smoked, but I wouldn't have talked about like, hey man, I grow weed. It's like it was a very, you know, you had to keep your raps on the low. You didn't want the law coming after you.
Oh, listen, man, I totally get it. Like my friends in high school, you know, in the woods.
Yeah.
But, you know, or whatever, like, oh my God, I don't want to get caught. Oh my God, someone's coming. Like,
I actually did it while I was filming Hocus Pocus. I had some plants out in like off the beaten path in the SoCal hills that me and my friends would come and, you know, take care of these plants and harvest, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Interesting. I was about to ask you if you have like any standout interesting story or anything from your acting career that like you'd like to share, but I think you just said it.
That's one of them. Yeah. Just a couple of years ago too, we were doing an interview, Vanessa, Jason, and I, and they were like, can you tell us something that nobody else knows? And I was like, I was pretty much stoned the whole time filming Hocus Pocus. And they were like, what? And that kind of made some big news. And I was just like, well, now is the time to, you know, talk about it since I ain't got nothing to hide anymore.
Oh, right? You know? Or even, you know, I'm a big baseball fan. I'm a Mets fan, right? So when, you know, when you hear baseball players say, oh yeah, in the 80s we were all doing cocaine. I'm like, what? You know, like we kind of knew. But it wasn't like public, right?
Yeah, you weren't in a rock band where it's like you definitely knew, and they would show you. You know, there's pictures of you actually doing it.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, that was the 80s was a big trend to do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're a rock star. Even as a professional athlete, you're kind of a rock star in your own nature. Yeah, you're going to party too, you know?
Sure. So just one last question. You said you got out of the acting game. What are you up to these days, if I may ask?
I have a cannabis company.
Okay.
I'm a cannabis cultivator. You know, our facility is about to like get the green light. We've had to go through tons of hoops of fire to get you know, our regulations up in place, and that's my main focus is just cannabis, getting my brand out there, and yeah, that's pretty much what I do now.
All right, cool. Again, that is just so interesting to me to just hear it talked about like that. Yeah, I started a cannabis company and getting my brand out there.
I'm like, weed company.
Brand?
Yeah. Branding,
know, right?
yeah. And that's the crazy part too, is like, you know, back in the day it was like about your product. Now it's about the brand.
Right. And
I'm like, okay, I don't know much about that, but I think like, yeah, I think me being, the face of my brand and just kind of expressing my true essence into that, I think will express onto other people. And I'm hoping that, hoping we have some success there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Omri, thank you so much for
My
a few
pleasure.
minutes of your time.
My
It was
pleasure.
great getting to meet you and hearing some interesting stories about you and your background. I truly appreciate it. I wish you much success with your business.
I appreciate that.
And any of your future endeavors.
I wish the same on to you.
Thank you. Omri Katz, everybody here at New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival. This is the Horror Nerd Todd Sturruch signing off. We'll see all of you in the next interview.